Hey, welcome back. We all hear a lot about climate change, but sometimes seeing is really believing. A new book out called Atlas of Disappearing Places gives us a real look at the impacts of global warming. I spoke with author Christina Conklin.
The Atlas of Disappearing Places, we go into 20 stories from around the world. One of the issues is sea level rise, and sea levels are going to rise from between 3 and 6 feet this century at our current level of carbon pollution. And that's going to remake every coastline in the world. Yes.
Unreal. This is why, we're seeing what we're seeing in Venice right now. Let's talk about something that maybe a lot of folks don't know about, which is the Seaweed Map. Tell us what it is and its importance.
I illustrated the book with maps drawn on seaweed and then layered onto satellite maps. And I wanted to use a product of the ocean to illustrate the impacts in the ocean. The reason there's actually so much seaweed in my local coastline right now is because of excess agricultural pollution. And these are fossil fuel-based fertilizers that are getting used and then running off into the ocean and creating one of the many, many issues in our ocean today.
There are so many issues. Every time I see one of those gigantic fishing boats come into the harbor, I feel so sad because I know overfishing the oceans is causing a problem. And the ocean really is kind of the heart of our Earth, right? So how does what's going on in the ocean tell us about our planet and climate change?
Well, the ocean produces literally half or more of all the oxygen we breathe. So there's so much life in the ocean that we're really not even aware of. Scientists have only identified a fraction of it. And so we need to spend a lot of time right now understanding these systems but the most urgent need right now is to stop our carbon fossil fuel based emissions because that's what's warming the ocean, creating ocean acidification. Dead zones are growing all over the world.
Thinking about carbon emissions is kind of low on the list. How do you see that changing over the years? And if it doesn't change, how much trouble are we in?
Well, I've noticed a dramatic change just in the past 4 years. I've been researching this book, which gives me great hope because the change we need to go through now needs to be like non-linear. We need to, in the same way that carbon levels are going up and climate change is going to rapidly increase. We've seen more storms, we've seen droughts and refugees, and this is all going to get exponentially worse in the coming decades if we don't act now. If we're going to save a world that our grandchildren will want to live in and be able to live in, we need to be acting now.
And it has to happen on not just on a global scale or a national scale, but locally. I know our own Governor Inslee, recently made a very strong climate pledge at the UN climate meeting. How important is that it happens at that level?
Well, that's where the leadership comes from, I think. I think it comes from local communities. State leadership is wonderful. I've been a big fan of Governor Inslee's for a long time. I think, sometimes you have to lead the leaders, and this needs to be a groundswell of public knowledge and understanding and pressure to not only this idea of net zero is one that's popular right now, but people need to understand that only stabilizes things where we are now. And we have more carbon in the atmosphere than we have had for 3 million years. So what we need to be doing is driving the carbon levels back down to their pre-industrial levels. And that's going to take a whole lot of technology and political willpower and individual action that just hasn't materialized yet. But I believe that I believe that change can be nonlinear in society too. I think we can do it. There's so many amazing people devoting their entire lives and careers to this right now.
Yeah.
There's been a big sea change.
But is there anything we can do at home right now? There's a lot of anxiety surrounding climate change. What can I do in my home today?
Individually, we can all watch what we're consuming. There's been a lot of awareness around plastics. Plastics also is in our clothing. It's also in our, all the packaging we use. And we need to just really look at our own habits. And then also, as I was saying, let's learn all we can and speak up about this. So whether that's starting a local book club or going to your city council meetings and speaking up, I feel like we all have something we're good at and we can provide some leadership on, and we just need to step up and do that in our own backyard.
Interesting.